Alrighty, hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. Okay, so in the last video, we created the truck, we brought in a car, and then we created a spot on the truck and a button on the car. When we activate the button on the car teleports to the part on the truck, welds itself to the truck, and then we're able to drive away. That's basically how this whole thing works. So in today's video, what we're going to do is we're just going to expand on that concept. So if you recall, if you watched it, hopefully you did, you'll know that I put some scripts in the server script service. And one of them was called spawn car. So what this does is this basically says whenever this event, and in this case it'll be spawn car, spawn car like that. Let me just say so this is going to be a separate remote event that we're going to have in the replicated storage. So there's two ways to do this. We can create an interface which is bound to the player when the player joins the game, and it allows them to throw variables to the server which could spawn vehicles, and that way we only really need one master script. Or in this case, if we want to do it through the replicated storage, we need a let me see, we need a remote event, and we also need a script for each vehicle that we want the player to spawn. So just be kind of thoughtful of that. And then it will be called spawn car, just like that. Alright, I can't Alright, spawn car, just like that. So now, what's the difference? Well, if we don't bind the interface to the player, then what we have to do is we have to embed a button on an interface. Yeah. Sorry, I'm just thinking about, there's a couple of things going on here right now. So we need to embed a button on the interface. So we just go into Starter GUI and we say insert, insert object, and we want a screen GUI, just like that. And then we want to right click, insert object, we want a frame. Okay, and this could be the main frame, whatever it is. You can put a picture in the background, whatever. And then what we want to do is we want to say, it'll say reset on spawn. We'll click that off, and then ignore GUI inset, meaning there won't be a border. It'll be, if we position this frame here, when the player spawns in, it's there on the edge of the screen instead of with a little bit of border. Okay, so inside here we can insert object, and it can be a text button, and we'll duplicate it. What we will also do in this frame, we're going to go insert object. What I want is a UI list layout, and in here we're going to say horizontal alignment, make it center. There we go. So then what we'll do is we'll make the background transparency of the frame, just so that way you can tell there's buttons inside here, and then each button, this one's going to be spawn car. Okay, this one's going to be spawn tow truck. And then we'll have another button. We'll duplicate that. And this is going to be delete car. Now this, in my opinion, we don't really need it, because what I tend to do is that when you go click the spawn car button, it will delete the car that's already in the world, and it will spawn a brand new one. And that way it doesn't matter where you are. You don't necessarily need this, the delete car part of it. So we just need the variable here. so it'll run the code for us. So now what we want to do is in our spawn car script, we want to enable it so it'll play. And what do we have here? So we just tell it to find the replicated storage, find the spawn car event, and the delete car event, which, let's see, we can duplicate this. We don't actually need this, but we will. Oops. We'll just leave it in there. So what I tend to do is it says, see, it's got the player's car. What I'll do is this, is I will copy this, and then when the spawn car event fires, I would tell it to like wait, and then remove the car, and then wait again just a split second, and then run through it. And then that way we don't actually need the delete car event. We can do that, and we don't need this bit of the code. So it just makes things really simple. So in a single function, we're finding the vehicle that's already there, we're changing it, okay? Then the next thing we need to do is here it says game server storage vehicles. So what we want to do is we want to say local server storage equals, and then remember what I was saying? We say game get service, and then we want to say server storage. Oh, actually that's in the replicated storage. Okay, never mind. So we already have that. Okay, yes, so that should work. So what it's going to do is it's going to look for the folder vehicles in the server storage. So in the server storage, we need to right click, we need to insert a folder. Oops, insert a folder, and we need to call that folder whatever you want to name it. In this case, I name it vehicles. It could be cars, trucks, airplanes, tanks, trains, whatever you want it to be. In there, we need to find the vehicle that we want to spawn. So we're going to take the coupe and we're going to drag it into there. And we want to say COU. There we go. Oh, COU. Yeah, it found it. Perfect. Then what it's going to do is it's going to spawn that on you, the player. It's going to take your torso, XYZ, and so what we should probably do, we could say +1. This is just your height, right? So it'll spawn it a little. So then if we press OK. So now what we need to do is we've made the spawn car code. We've taken the coupe, we've added it to the folder so it can find it, and it's going to give it a name. What we need to do now is we need to code the button. So we can either insert we can say insert object. We can insert a local script here, or we can just have a local script inside each button. Whatever, doesn't matter. We could say local spawn car equals script dot parent dot frame. Just remember, if you rename the frame, you'll have to rename it here. Dot spawn car. Okay, so let me say spawn car. Dot mouse button 1 down. Connect function. All right, and what's the function that we want to connect it to? If we say player in here, we can say local rs equals game get service replicated storage. We can say rs dot spawn car, and we can say fire server, just like that. So now the spawn car, we need to change the text of the button to say spawn car, just like that. Now if we press play, and if I run over here, oh, there we go. It spawned the coupe. Now it deleted the tow truck because the tow truck is named car, just like the coupe. So we need to change that. We need to change that in the tow truck code, which is in, I want to say it's in the body. Let's see. I don't know. Yeah. So if we change the name of it here to tow, all right, what we can then do is in the spawn car, we can duplicate this. We can say spawn tow, just like that. And then what we need to do is we need to change this here to tow. Now, is it lowercase, uppercase, okay. And then in the vehicles, we need to find the name of the vehicle that we want to spawn. So in this case, it is the tow truck. So just like that. And then we want to name it tow. Just like that. Now, change this button here to say spawn tow. And if we press play, alright, should be able to spawn the tow truck. Oh, something went wrong. We need a different remote event. That's what's wrong. So if we duplicate that, we say spawn tow, then on spawn tow, we can say spawn tow. There we go. Oh, something's going on here. We don't need that. There it is right there. Oh, you know why? I didn't code the button, duh. Alright, so local spawn tow equals script dot parent dot frame dot spawn tow. And then we just take this, duplicate it, but we change this to spawn tow. Perfect. Oh. Make sure it says spawn tow. There we go. Now it spawns right on top of us. So what we want to do is we want to adjust the X value. Maybe we can change that to 20. Yeah, that's probably good. We can go maybe a bit further, 25 perhaps. We could say 30. So I mean, that's up to you to adjust. Same with the car, we could do like 20. Oh my goodness, spawn car. Yeah, there we go. That's a bit far away for the car, maybe. Spawn tow truck. Cool. So there you have it. So now the tow truck is named my tow and then the car. And then so this is going to give me an error because it's going to look for that. So what we need to do is we need to change the code to look for the tow truck. So that's in the coupe. Yeah. Right here. So keep in mind, we're still just setting up the names of the vehicles. Like, we're still just setting up the basics to the game, right? Spawning in the car, spawning in the tow truck. It's just still the really basics. So if my keyboard wanted to work, even though it doesn't, okay. So we spawn the tow truck in, spawn the car. Oh my goodness. Did it just die? There we go. Alright, that's just my keyboard being a slouch. Alright. You can shift. Keyboard, you can shift, please. I think the keyboard might be going, the batteries might be going in it. I don't know. Come on. It's just my keyboard. The vehicle runs fine. Alright, so there you go. So there you have it. Now I need to fix this on the tow truck itself. We need to reconfigure that so it works. So what we've done is we've created an interface for the player when they join the game. It allows them to spawn the car, allows them to spawn the tow truck. So what you can do now in your game is you can restrict these buttons to the game passes. So let's see here. If I went to file, I have to save it to Roblox. And what's it called? It's called tow truck game, blah, 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 right? So I go save to Roblox, or publish to Roblox, which I haven't done yet. So, yeah, we'll save it to Roblox. The name of the game will just be tow truck game. Let's say that. Tow truck package for your game. Oops. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Come October, this thing is gonzo. It's gonna creator me. I don't know. Let's just make it computer for now and console. Team create, sure. Data sharing, sure. We can say save it. Oh, I should have updated it to one of the, I got so many. Okay, so now that that's done, then what we want to do is we want to, oh, we gotta wait. It's saved, okay. Oh, there we go. Now it's gonna restart. Now we need to publish this to Roblox. Oh, there we go. And now that it's published, what we can do is we need to go to game settings. And under we won't do badges just yet, but under is it security? We want to enable studio access to API services. That's going to allow us to connect to the data store. We're not going to allow third-party sales or teleports. And we just save it like that. I think that's all we need. Yeah, so you see if I press play, now it says unable to assign property to string value. Oh yeah. I wonder if that needs to be it's a string expected, string value. I wonder if we need to say data equals cache dot value for this one. Just thinking here. Oh, maybe I have to define that. It's defined here though. Here, let's do this. Let's do this. Let's take tow truck adventure, and let's make that the front of the variable. We'll try that, and then we want to say my data store player.user ID. I wonder if this needs to be like this. Let's see. Those should be zeros there. I don't know why they're not zeros. But it said leaderboard loaded, so I guess I can assume that they're numbers. Let's see, but they should have a value. Oh, are they string values? Maybe that's why. That's the problem here. Is these are string values. These need to be number values. Yes, these need to be number values. That's the problem. And then we can say this equals data. And then we can say this equals data V. Because we're loading it, not saving to it. That makes more sense. Aha, yes. And now we have 2 zeros there. Perfect. So now the leaderboard is set up. Now we can get values. Okay. So what I was getting at, now that the game has been published, we can create a badge. And that badge can be quite simply, here, let's do this. Let's take a screenshot or print screen, and then we'll do this. And I will, let's say, I'll say, I didn't print the screen. There we go. And we're going to crop this picture. Just like that. Okay, we're going to crop it. We're going to go File, Save As, tow truck pass, blah 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 blah. All right, I'm going to restart the music here because this is boring. Okay. Then what we need to do is we need to go to File, and we need to go to Game Settings. We need to go to monetization, and we need to create a badge. So, For tow truck game, we need to create a badge for here. So we go down to here to passes. No, we don't want. We could make it a pass. That's subscription based, but I mean badges. I guess badges are sort of the same thing. Let's see. It's changed a little bit. Here's my badges. There we go. Badges right down here. So we can create a badge. Let's go create a badge. And upload an image. Let's save it here. I think so. Truck pass, is it that one? It is. And then we can say with this path, you can use the tow truck. Okay, just like that. Badge is enabled. Boom, create the badge, done. So that's the pass. So in order to get this pass, we can do one of two things. We can make a button in the game which gives the pass to the player when they activate it. That's one way. And then they'll have to pay with either experience or money they earned in the game. That's the easiest way to allow players to stay in your engagement, right? Because then they don't need Roblox, they don't need any of that. They just need to play your game and then they can advance. The other way to do it is if we created a pass. Or not a pass, no. There's, yeah, I guess a pass would be the same thing. And then they need like a monthly subscription and that kind of stuff. But I think if you use badges for me is a better way of giving out rewards to players. Because I think that you're just going to get more, because you have to play the game to earn the badge. You don't necessarily just have to pay money to get the badge. So you're going to get more feedback on your game, and you know, it's just going to help you out in the longer run, I think. So what we need to do now is, now that we have that badge, we need to check the player to see if they have that badge when they join the game. So what we then need to do is, I copied the ID. We're going to go paste. This is the badge ID. Actually, what we'll do is here, we should make it a local. Tow truck badge equals like that, okay? So now what we need to do is we need to say, okay, how do we check to make sure if the player has this pass or not? So what we need to do is we need to open from Roblox. We need to go into Blue Truck and City, which only I have access to. And we need to get a little bit of code from the game. I wonder if Winter Assault has it too. Winter Assault might have it also, but Blue Truck and City has it for sure. There we go. So when you join the game, it queries the player to see if you have the pass or not. So that's the code that we want. And if you don't have the pass, it's not going to let you see the tow truck spawn button in the interface. It's going to be neat. If you do have the pass, then it will enable the button. So, yeah, one step at a time. What we will then do is we will then change the button from a text button to an image button. And that way, if you don't have the pass, it can have an image that says, buy pass. Okay, smart. And then if you do have the pass, then it'll have a different image of, hey, you have the tow truck. Cool. Because on the button, the image buttons, I think you can have up to 3 images. Because there's like mouse hover enter, mouse hover leave, mouse click. Like there's 3 or 4 functions just with the button. Whereas with the text button, you can only just change the text of it. I suppose we could do that too, where you click on it and it says purchase pass. So 6 in one, half dozen in the other. It depends on what you want to do. Okay, so now we're in Blue Truck and City. if it wants to load. Hopefully it doesn't crash. And we want to go into server script service, and I believe this in the leaderboard. So I wonder, was it even this one here? Just trying to think here. Oh yeah, we could use the welcome badge code. Okay, so what we need is we need this. We need to get the badge service. So we will say like that, local badge service equals game get service badge service. And then what we need to do is we need to see how this is when players added. We need to query the player for the badge. So to do that, we need this little bit of code. We can do it right here. For players in pairs, and then we need the badge ID, which is this badge here. All right. So what it does is it searches the player. Oh, but this is to award. Okay, so that's not the code that we want actually, because it actually checks to see if you've been awarded or not. So we don't want that one. I wonder which game I have that has. Let's see. All this is going to do is just give you a badge. We don't want to do that. We don't want to award the player the badge. But what we want to do is check to see if they have the badge. So I wonder if we can say has badge. User has badge async. Okay. So then what we need to do is check for that badge. I wonder what that'll do. Alright, so now what we're going to do is we also need a way to give the player the badge. So in our starter GUI, we need to say in here, we need to say if this is the spawn toe. So we need to get our badge service. We need these two things, all right? And then we're going to say if and then we need to query the player. Also, we can do this. Let's see, we'll copy that. Get players do. I wonder if I can say if. Then I wonder if that'll work. Let's see. Hey, look at that. It doesn't work because I don't have to pass. Oh, that's cool. So now how do I get the pass? I need a way to give myself the pass so that way we can test it. All right. So what is the purpose of the pass? The purpose of the pass is to limit who can use the tow truck and who can't. So once it's in here, all I'm trying to do is show you other neat things that you can do with the game, right? So once we have our, let's see, we go insert object. Now I just need to set up a button to give us the pass. All right, so we need a proximity prompt. And then in that prompt, we need to insert object. Let's get a script in there. All right, and then we just need some code. Okay, we can say local button equals script dot parent button dot trigger ended. Right, connect function. All right, what's the function that we want it to connect to? What we want to do is we want to get the badge service, and we need the name of the badge first off. Oh my goodness, come on, keyboard. Don't fail me now. Okay, and then we need to say, we need to give them the badge. We need to award the badge. So instead of user has, so we can take this code, but we will say award badge. Yeah, there we go, award badge. So then what we can do is we can get rid of this here. Perfect. All right, so when we activate that, it should give me the badge. I think. I hope. Yay, I got the badge. Now, when I press spawn tow truck, oh, it works. Perfect, perfect. Okay, so that is how you allow a player to get a badge that you created, and then okay, so now what we need to do is we need to add the financial component to this. The player needs to spend money to get this badge. So what we now need to do is we need to connect this to the data store. Okay. So we'll do that. We connect the button to the data store. And now in here, it's gonna, so we need to say local reward equals 1000, and then we need to say local exp equals 10. All right, so now what we need to do is we need to get the player, and now we need to also search the player to see if they have enough money. So we need to say if player dot leader stats dot cash dot value, okay, dot cash dot value is greater than 1000, then we will say else, and we're just gonna print need more money, and we'll see how that works. So I shouldn't be able to activate the proximity prompt. There we go, need more money. Perfect. Now, it's not going to award me the badge again. Once you have the badge, you have the badge. So it might be difficult unless I create a separate badge to change this code around. But as you can see, you know, so now, as you can see, you need to be able to get this badge. So what we can do is we can hide this. So we can say the action text by tow access. And then we can say the money, right? 1000, whatever you want it to be, plus the experience. And then all that does is that way when they come in here, buy tow access 1000, boom. So what you can do is you can hide that prompt somewhere, wherever you want in here. So the player's on a mission that brings them to this area of wherever you want it. They activate the prompt gives them the mission reward, and it also gives them the tow truck badge. And now they're able to use the spawn toe button on the interface. So what we need to say is, so if they have the badge, fire the server. Else, we want to print, just for now. No, we want to change the action text. Else spawn toe dot text equals purchase pass, find pass. So now what you can do is you can have a mission tied to this, right? So if I don't have the pass and I click on it, it's going to say you need to find the pass. So in here, okay, let's go back to the button for a minute. What we need to do is it checks to see if the player has the money. If they don't have the money, that's good. And then what we also want to do is we want to reward them experience. So once they get awarded the badge, what we also want to do is we want to say player dot leader stats dot XP dot value equals yeah, there we go. And instead of plus 10, we're going to say plus EXP. There we go. Perfect. Now, what we now also need to do is we need to put in these pcalls to make sure that it checks that the transaction has gone through, and then it's going to save it to the player. It's going to save it to our stats. So what we need to do is we need to say set async same with this one. We need to say set async, but at the end of this, we need to put the comma, and then we need to say the variable that we want to save. So in this case, it's player.leaderstats.cache.value. That is where the variable is. Same with this one. Otherwise, it's going to say missing second parameter. That's the second parameter you need. And then we need to switch this around and say data equals cache.value. And same with this one here, data B. And it's going to say, well, what is that? So we need to take this here, and we need to do that. And then we need to take this here, and we need to put it here. Just like that. Now it should say leaderboard saved. So how do we check this? Well, what we can do is to check it is we can give ourselves a reward. So we can say if player.leaderstats.cache.value is greater than, we could just say equals 0. Then it'll give the badge, it'll give some XP, and then it will also give us some cash. There we go. It should give us 1,000 cash and save it. So let's try that. So our cash value is equal to 0. Hey, look at that. And it said that it's saved. So now if I stop the game and I go back into it, I know that it's saved. So now that we know this script works, we can now turn it around. So instead of giving us money, it subtracts money. So now we can revert this and say if your money is greater than 1,000, then it's going to go through it and it's going to give you some money. It's going to give you some experience, and it's also going to give you the badge. So it's actually perfect, and that's all we needed to do. And then it's going to save to the character. Now, if you want this badge to cost money, you just need to reverse it. Instead of adding value, if they have enough, you want to subtract it. So instead of saying plus reward, you want to say minus reward, and then change that to whatever you want. And it's as simple as that. So hopefully, okay. The same with if you want it to cost XP. Okay, something like that. So now what we've done is we found a way to give the player a badge, and we found a way to give the player value, and we found a way to make that save. So in this case, you can silence the badge part. For example, if you wanted to use this somewhere else, like an ATM or something like that, all you need to do is silence that part of it, and then silence this part of it. And then I think we can just do that. So let's try that. So if I have 1,000 or greater, it should give me another 1,010 XP. It didn't actually do anything. It said need more money. Yeah, it didn't give me anything, but it said it needed more money. So that's because I said greater than 1,000. So I could say I have to say greater than 900. And we can change the action text on the button as well. There we go. So that worked. It works. Okay, so I'll just leave this where it is, and then that way you can figure it out. As you can see, once we silence that, now this just becomes a regular, give the player a regular economy script. And you can take this button and you can put it wherever you want in the game to give players value and a badge. So I just kind of, because like I say, if you have a game where there are different elements, you know, there's EMS, there's different teams in that. This is another good way of restricting access to the game without, you know, having to ask too much from the player, and so on and so forth. So we've added that. Where are we at with the stream? Holy cow, 48 minutes. Another hour-long video. There might be one or two more. So that's, what have we done? We finished the leaderboard script. We created an interface which, oh no. Oh, I wonder where it saved last. Oh, really? Oh no, do I have to do all that all over again? It looks like I have to do all that all over again. No. I wonder if there is a autosave. This is the closest one. What's that? Oh, these are... Okay, hold on. No. Roblox. Perfect. I don't have to do all that all over again. Nice. Alright, I better save this. Alright, must have saved when I exited. Okay. So there you go. So I just wanted to bring that out there just to show how we can limit that, how we can add to the game. And so on and so forth. So now when somebody joins, they just have their car. So in the next video, what we're going to do is we are going to add the sell location for the vehicle, where the player can bring the car. We are also going to add some... No, we'll do that. Yeah, so we'll create the sell point for the vehicle, or the impound point, depending on how you want to do that. Because we want to have... We could have two different types of systems. So you can have one system where the player's vehicle's been impounded and then they can't use the spawn car button for like 5 minutes, let's say. Maybe we do something like that. I'll figure it out. But what we're also going to do is we're going to take some meshes. So we'll go into the toolbox and we'll look at the creator store. And I just want to look at car mesh. Okay, because this is basically the same thing as a car. You know. So what we'll do is I can take this mesh here, for example, and it's one vehicle. I wonder, it's probably anchored, right? Yeah, I'll have to weld it all together so we can move it. And so what we're going to do is we're going to take vehicles like this and we're going to create a server script that handles the respawning of these vehicles, and we'll code in maybe 5 cars. We'll find 5 car meshes. And that way, you're obviously going to have a lot more in the actual game, but this just gives you a starting point. So what you will do is you'll take these vehicles and you'll put them, say, in a parking lot somewhere, you know, on a road somewhere, by a station somewhere, and then the player can come by and they can tow these vehicles to a sell point, okay, that's going to give them a reward. And they're also going to have be able to tow the player's vehicles, which they'll either be able to impound or they'll get a reward for that as well. But that's going to cost the player. So in the next video, we're going to set all that up. We'll set up the car, and we'll set up the cost to have the car towed, because it's going to be up to the player to decide whether they want the car towed or not. And then, you know, because it'll cost $100 or $1,000 or something like that, right? They'll have to pay. And then so what we need to do is we need to figure out how does someone request a tow. Alright, so that's a lot to unpack. In the next video, we are going to have regular cars that we can tow, player cars that we can tow, and we're going to handle all of that. Alright, so let's do one final recap of what we did in today's video. We took the vehicles and we put them into the server storage. We created 2 scripts, one to spawn the car, one to spawn the tow truck. We also created a button which gives us a badge which allows us to use the tow truck, which I think is absolutely perfect. So, I hope you're enjoying this video series. This is part 2. Part 3 and part 2 are coming. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.